What's going on, guys? Another fight night. Adesanya, Imavov. Right now we got Mike Davis versus what's this dude's name again? Faram Fairs Ziam versus Mike Davis. First fight of the main card. Early one today. I woke up very early to try to start from the first fight, and it was just too early for me on a Saturday. Had to go back to sleep. Been getting after it hard in the gym, so today's my day off. I had about 14 days in a row. Up till today. Legs are feeling it. I was just about to say that. Lorisenko, Mike Davis looks a little awkward so far. Pulled guard 2-3 times. He's very short on his strikes. Keeps missing. He's not closing the range enough before he throws. But fighting in Saudi Arabia is probably uncomfortable compared to what he's been used to in the past. Ooh, nice uppercut by Ziam. Minute and 35 left in the first. Ziam, I would say, is winning this first round. Another good jab by Ziam. Davis in on a takedown. And he kind of pulls guard again. All right, he stands back up. Ooh, almost just ate an elbow. Or did eat an elbow. Almost cut him, it looked like. Oh, there we go. Now he just landed a nice little left hook. Gets a little slam. Immediately takes the back of Ziam. That helps Davis out a little bit. It definitely was a competitive round. Now he's going to get mount. All right, he might have stole this round with that little flurry at the end. The back take. Yeah, and then the final minute of the round in mount. Oh. Ziam tried to sweep. Didn't get it. Resettles in half guard. Better than being mounted. Good elbow from Davis. What's going on, everybody? Who's watching the fights? Thank you, David Corona. So Davis might have stole that round there at the end with the grappling. I'll call it 1-0 Davis. He was a slight favorite coming into the fight. But he looked awkward for the first 3 minutes of the first round. Like he was just short on all his strikes. Looked a little uncomfortable. Kept pulling guard, which is never a good strategy in MMA. Even if you're Kron Gracie. As we saw recently when he fought Hitler's biggest supporter, Bryce Mitchell. I know, Joe. Hey, come here. My dog doesn't like Hitler either, apparently. Just the sound of the word made her start. Hey, come on, man. I didn't say I support the guy. I gotta try to find dog toys to get her to stop barking at me. There we go. Come on. Don't do this, Joe. Gotcha. You got anything to say to the people? Go ahead. Keep barking. Round 2. Ziam versus Davis. First fight on the main card. It was a pretty good undercard. The fights that I was able to... Ooh, nice left hook landed by Davis. Into a double leg. Good sprawl by Ziam. Definitely rocked this shit right there. But good sprawl there by Ziam. Davis keeps doing this, like, oh, now he's about to get taken down. He keeps, like, shooting in, getting sprawled on, and then, like, he pulled guard twice, but then he's, like, almost pulling guard. There is, like, a technique to that where you kind of sit on your butt and then use the momentum to go into a second takedown attempt or come up on a single leg, but he's been ineffective with it so far. Ziam's got Davis pushed up against the cage. I'm seeing Ryan Federick said 10-9 Ziam in the first. I had a 10-9 Davis. Renato Moicano, tough round to call. The bigger moments were definitely Davis's, taking the back, spending over a minute in mount. Anybody watching, how'd you score that first round? Who knows what judges they have in Saudi Arabia? I'd imagine they bring in their own judges. I don't know if Saudi Arabia has an athletic commission like that. Ooh, nice knee right there by Ziam. Ooh, Davis is busted open now from that knee. Looks like a nasty cut, too. A lot of blood. 3 minutes left in the second round. Looks like he hit him right on the temple. Oh, there's a big takedown by Ziam. Ooh, good elbow by Davis. Then he gets slammed down. Ziam's got a nice double leg, kind of carried Davis halfway across the cage. Good guard work, though, by Davis, not letting Ziam settle. Keeps using his butterfly hooks very effectively, kind of going for, like, leg lock sweeps. And he gets one there. He sits Ziam down. Looks like he's going for a heel hook. Heel hooks are very tough to pull off, though, in MMA. Oh, and he's got a calf slicer. He has very awkward position right now. He still has a calf slicer in, but he kind of has mount. Definitely tweaking the shit out of Ziam's knee right now. A lot of blood, though. Big puddle of blood on the mat from that cut on Davis. So this is the same as the first round. A little bit early it was Ziam, and now Davis. Minute and 50, he's on top. Bro, Ziam's knee is fucked right now. Unless this dude is hyper flexible, his knee has been in a very bad position for the last minute. Oh. He's going for a head and arm triangle as he has a calf slicer. And he settles in mount. Let's go with the calf slicer. Let's go with a head and arm triangle and just takes mount. So this will be another tough round to score. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Nice little escape there by Ziam. The blood's definitely going to have an impact on who's scoring this round. Bido, I'm watching it on ESPN Plus. These fights are on ESPN Plus. I mean, any streaming, what are they called? I can't really talk about them because last time I talked about them, I got banned. They said I was doing illegal activities, and I got banned for a week. Oh, Ziam's going for a head and arm triangle. Up. Nice. Davis bridges out. So this round was close again. I think Ziam takes it over at the end. And depending on how you scored that first round, might be 2-0 Ziam. I think the blood will definitely impact the scoring. But if we're scoring it on who was closest to ending the fight, in both rounds, it was Davis. Oh, some good strikes there by Ziam. Davis looks rough right now, though. Davis looks very rough right now. Yeah, ESPN Plus has been having some issues lately. I've had a few freezes so far today. I can't give it to you. They will ban me and say I'm committing illegal activities. TikTok doesn't play around. But try any one of the websites, the normal websites. If you're in the community, you should know some of them. The main event should be an hour or two, 2 hours. This is the first fight of the main card. I think they have 6 fights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 on the main card. Thank you for the gift. Round 3. All right, Davis looks like he got himself together a little bit. Ziam's shorts are white, or used to be white. Now they're completely red from all the blood from Mike Davis. Oh, there's a nice takedown attempt by Ziam. In on a double. Good defense by Davis. Ziam switching to a single leg. And lifts him up and gets him down. Nice takedown by Ziam. Nice little right hand on the ground by Ziam. Try Sports Surge. Ziam's got Davis pressed up against the cage, and I think Davis has to do something because I saw some people thinking Ziam won that first round, so it's either 1-1 or 2-0. Thank you for the gift. Little north-south position right now for Ziam. Davis got to do something, though. 3 minutes left. Oh, he's trying to take the back. But you're not going to win a fight on your back not doing anything. So he's got to start moving. He's getting ground and pounded and controlled right now. And he's trying to build up to his base. He's in a front headlock right now, and he waited too long, and now Ziam grabs an anaconda grip. Davis does a good job of getting his head out of there. He's going for like an Americana from half guard, which you're never going to hit. One of the best examples, though, of actually that move working is if you ever go watch Alistair Overeem versus Mark Hunt. Overeem hit an Americana from the bottom and wound up sweeping Mark Hunt over and almost breaking Mark Hunt's shit. Now they're back on the feet. Nice little left hook landed for Ziam. Ziam's definitely been the busy of the two on the feet. Significant strikes is 35-14. So yeah, this has been Ziam's fight. Shoots in on a double right there under Davis' strikes. Now they're pressed up against the cage. Davis got to defend this takedown, though. He's definitely going to lose this fight. Just got taken down again. Davis looks like he's wearing it. He looks exhausted. Keeps going for this Americana from the bottom. Can be used as a sweep, but it's a very low percentage move. You can actually hit it better from side control on bottom than you can from half guard or even close guard. Oh, Ziam's trying to go for a leg lock sweep again. Looks like he's going for a heel hook. But there's so much blood right now. They're definitely both very slippery. You seen Tiesto followed you? No, I did not. I didn't even think. I don't think any of those kids even remember who I am. Oh, now Ziam's got a nasty cut. But too little, too late. 20 seconds left. If Davis doesn't finish this fight, he doesn't win this fight. Couple good elbows there from the end. So, I mean, maybe the judges will give him the end of that fight. But I don't know about that. Thank you for the likes. So, I got to go with Ziam in that fight, which actually fucks up my parlay. So, thanks for that, Mike Davis. Fucking dickhead. I really like this V8 Splash Juice show, though. Highly recommend it to anyone out there trying to find alternatives to other sugary drinks. So I'm probably going to say that's going to be Ziam, unanimous decision. Who you guys think wins Adesanya versus Imavov? I'm actually leaning towards Imavov simply because I saw that Adesanya is 35. And history says 35-year-olds don't win fights. 36-year-olds, 37-year-olds, they do not win fights unless you're at heavyweight or 205. This fight will be at 185, which is also what I saw for Michael Venom Page. There is a realm where Venom Page is the better striker, but he's going to be undersized, and he's 37 as well. So he's old. He's getting up there. Yeah. So 30-27 for Ziam. It's probably rough for Mike Davis fighting in Saudi Arabia. Different climate, different foods, different everything. Probably a culture shock for someone from Florida. Shara versus MVP. I'm leaning towards Shara because he's younger, bigger. But no, that fight is like 2 fights away, 3 fights away. This was just the first fight of the night. Faraz Ziam just beat Mike Davis. And Islam at 14, Paddy Pimblett at 6, and then Faraz Ziam, longest win streaks at 155. He's got a nasty cut, Ziam, but not the biggest Ziam fan. He knocked out my boy Matt Frivola. Big Matt Frivola fan. But yeah, Mike Davis lost that fight the first round, pulling guard and just not being aggressive as I've seen him in the past. Had some moments, but 30-27. Close rounds, couple of close rounds. I mean, 5 fight win streak, but once he steps up to competition, Tucker Carlson is at the UFC in Saudi Arabia. And I saw the guy from Shameless actually sitting behind Tucker Carlson. The young, what's his name? What's the youngest son's name in Shameless? I forget his name. Carl. The actor who played Carl is at the UFC in Saudi Arabia. Now we got Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira coming up next. So Nurmagomedov, not from the Nurmagomedov family, versus Oliveira is the next fight. All block. What's up, man? Who do you got? Adesanya or Imavov? Oh, Ali block. I got bad vision. I did also notice that they had a woman, they had one woman's fight on this card, and they made the girls weigh in fully clothed at the weigh-ins. Myra Bueno Silva, and Jasmine Jasavicius. Jasmine Jasavicius won a decision on the prelims. Luckily, no other women's fights. Fight detail on which fight? Up next is Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. Thank you, Guy, for the gift. Oliveira by decision. I know Oliveira's an underdog. I feel like doesn't a lot of Nurmagomedov. He's definitely a decision fighter. I know he's got a few stoppages, but he's got more stoppages than I thought. But when he does lose by decision. Let me look at Oliveira. Shara and Michael Page. I'm leaning towards Shara. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Page is the better striker, but he's smaller. He's coming up to 185. And he's old. He's 37. Thank you for the follow. You know, I talk about it every time I go live and I see a fight where a fighter's over the age of 35. You don't win after 35. It's not likely. That's even what has me worried for Adesanya in the main event. Usually the younger guy wins, especially when the guy's over 35. Very rare that a guy over 35 wins in the UFC. Unless you're at heavyweight or 205. Yeah, he's definitely not the same Adesanya. But yeah, Oliveira's good. Oliveira, what is he, 3-0 in the UFC or 2-0 and then the Contender Series fight? But Isn't Nurmagomedov a 35er? Okay, so yeah, they're both 35ers. But yeah, he's good for a guy with one eye. I think of Bisping. Yeah, MVP's moving up to 185 for some reason. They were saying it's because, oh, he's going to get the opportunity to fight a name like Shara Bullet. No, it's probably just because the UFC offered him a bag. Or maybe he was intrigued by the fight in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, Shara Bullet versus Venom Page should be a good fight. Should obviously be a striking fight. I mean, I want to see if Shara Bullet can grapple. Like, who was the last guy? Petrosian? I thought Petrosian would have fought smarter and took him to the ground, but stood up with him for the whole fight. Then got highlight reel, double spinning back elbowed or whatever you want to call it. Spinning back fisted. I forget if it was an elbow or a fist. But should have took that fight to the ground. I think of a guy like Shara, until I see how good his grappling is, I'm not sold on him. Because he could be Darren Till. He looks great on the feet, but there could be a glaring hole in his grappling. And I do think Michael Page's grappling is underrated. I'm from Islamabad, Pakistan. Urman Khan Zindabad. What does that mean? But good morning from Pakistan. What time is it right now in Pakistan? Urman Khan. The actor? I googled him. It says he's an actor. I mean, not cheat. That's part of cutting weight. It's old practice in boxing, wrestling. I wouldn't mind if the UFC did hydration tests like one championship, but I think they cheat the hydration test too. It all depends on what type of a draw you are. That's a nice take. Pavlovich entering the fight 3-0. His chin is suspect. I think everyone's chin is kind of suspect at heavyweight, except for John Jones. Thank you for the follow, Josh Wesley. Rosenstrike's definitely a very good striker and has the potential to win that fight. I saw that he's an underdog as well. Well, when I googled Erman Imran Khan, an American actor, is who comes up. I mean, I would like to see fighters almost not even cut weight and kind of just fight at a more comfortable weight, but I think you'd get better performances out of everybody because their brains wouldn't be dehydrated, their muscles wouldn't be dehydrated. But at this point, it's just so ingrained in fighting, weight cutting. And you're always going to have those weight bullies, if you will, or people that just kind of exploit the rules. Good leg kick by Nurmagomedov. Oh, just landed a spinning back kick. I don't know if that was to the chest or to the chin. Looks like it was to the chest. Spinning back kick by Nurmagomedov. He's lighting Oliveira up with kicks so far. But yeah, very common practice, weight cutting. You see it so much in boxing. That's where it came from, in wrestling. And then it's just the first guy who really started cutting a lot of weight in MMA was Tito Ortiz, who came from a wrestling background. And a lot of the wrestlers are the ones who were really cutting weight in the beginning. And then it's from kickboxing, it's from everything. There's always been weight cutting. The former Prime Minister of Pakistan. I do not know him. But I know like one has one championship had hydration rules, and it's a little flawed. You think the Eagles are going to win 45-47? That's a very high score. If that's what you mean by that. Nurmagomedov in on a takedown, and he gets it. Wild fight so far. Definitely a frenetic pace. Now they're back to the feet. A couple of right hands by Nurmagomedov. This fight's definitely going to come down to cardio for both guys. Yeah, I don't know who Imran Khan is. The former prime minister of Pakistan. Who's the greatest MMA fighter from Pakistan? I feel like there's somebody. But Oliveira's now got Nurmagomedov pushed up against the cage. This is the other Nurmagomedov, though. He's like a kickboxer with decent grappling. He doesn't have the level of grappling as the other Nurmagomedovs. And he's of no relation. Oh, little ninja choke he went for there. A little eye poke from Oliveira. Official timeout now to clear the eye poke. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Eagles. I think everyone, if not everyone in America, everyone in the world is rooting for the Eagles. Like me personally, I don't give a fuck about Taylor Swift. I don't need to see Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl or her on the field with that goofy Travis Kelce. I'm good on that. I hope Saquon Barkley runs for 200 yards and gets 3 touchdowns and puts a dagger in the Chiefs. But how bad was the officiating in that game? That was so terrible. I keep seeing like false stories and memes about how there's an investigation on the referees and stuff. I don't think it's true, but I think definitely there should be, and there's definitely something fishy going on in that game. And you see it every game. Ooh, good left hook. Good left high kick just landed for Nurmagomedov, but Vinicius Oliveira ate it. Oh, Nurmagomedov just dropped Oliveira with a left hand. Went for a flying knee, misses it, and winds up getting taken down. You know, he definitely had a moment right there, and he blew it. I mean, he could have landed the flying knee, but he missed the flying knee and winds up getting taken down. Wasted his moment there. Today, winner, Shara and Imavov. Yes. I think I'm leaning towards Imavov, too, like I said. Simply, Izzy's old. He's getting up there in age. He's 35. Usually, it's tough when you lose the title after you've been champion for so long to kind of, I don't want to say find the motivation, but just put it all together when it's not a championship fight. It will be 5 rounds, though, so that favors Adesanya a little bit, I think. I think he's more of a 5-round fighter. He could still have the mindset of a champion going into that. But yeah, I think it's a tough fight. But it's one of those ones too. The not that the blueprint. I mean, the blueprint is out, and it's easier said than done to beat Izzy grappling. But that's how you beat him. You beat him on the ground. If you keep it on the feet with Izzy, you're going to have a harder time, and you're giving him opportunities to win. If you take him down, that's obviously where he's weaker. He's stronger on the feet. So hopefully, I mean, not hopefully, but if Imavov wants to win and he fights smart, he's going to make it a grappling fight or a dirty, grinding fight. If he tries to strike with Adesanya, it's probably going to be Adesanya's night or day. Couple little back elbows for Nurmagomedov. I'd have to say that first round I'd give to Nurmagomedov. Hi, buddy. So glad TikTok is allowing special needs people come on here and practice social skills. Yeah, there you go. They let you on here, right? Look at you. Look at you, Tom. special needs Tom over here. Yeah, all right, Tom. Goofy. You are a loser if you come on random people's TikToks and try to troll and talk about how they're special needs, but shout out to all the special needs people. Very tough fight, but Venom, Adesanya under pressure. Uh, they're up there in age. That's what it comes down to. Every fight is important and a big fight, but when you get up there in age, it becomes tougher to win. Nice spinning back kick by Oliveira. Low kick for Oliveira. Oh, Oliveira just blocked the head kick, landed a little right hand of his own. Both guys trading low kicks. Nurmagomedov drops for a takedown. What? I am in America, New York. So yeah, I'll have to restart this because they just put restrictions on me, probably because this goofball Tom. Up, up. Nurmagomedov's going for too much shit. Spinning back fists, flying knees. I mean, if they land, great, but when you miss, you wind up getting taken down, and you wind up not having a good moment after. You know, he went for a flying knee after rocking him, got taken down. Looked like he just landed a punch, a good punch. Then he went for a spinning back fist, gets taken down. Uses a guillotine to work his way back up. Hello, Micah. All right, so I guess maybe they are still letting people in. They just gave me a warning. Another spinning back kick. That one landed for Nurmagomedov against the looked like the chest. But yeah, another competitive fight here. Two good fights to open up the main card. Oh. Magomedov shoots a double, gets it. Oliveira pops right back up. Man, TikTok always gets me with this bullshit. Another takedown for Nurmagomedov, but he's having trouble controlling Oliveira when he does get a takedown. Oliveira keeps popping right back up. So I'd say round one, Nurmagomedov. Round two, Oliveira. Nice left hook just landed for Oliveira. 30 seconds left in this second round. Nurmagomedov looks tired. Taking a lot of deep breaths. Uh, when I was younger, maybe. But let me restart this guy because they're blocking me. In my younger years, I trained most of my life, probably like 25 years. I did various forms of martial arts. Then I broke my leg. I stepped away from training a little bit. Now I kickbox. Have never returned to wrestling or jiu-jitsu though. I think about it though all the time. But I had a bad leg break. I have 2 plates and 17 screws in my left leg. I got it from defending a takedown. But restarted my stream here because Sergey versus the Kurt man. Who's the Kurt man? The Cut man? Why you think Rosenstreich looks like Cutman Tate? More wild shit winds up to Nurmagomedov getting taken down. If he loses this fight, that's why he's going to lose this fight, Nurmagomedov. Because he keeps throwing low percentage techniques and getting taken down. I lean towards Pavlovich, but I wouldn't be surprised. Both heavyweights. Rosenstreich's definitely the better kickboxer. I think Pavlovich has more punching power. So it'll be whoever finds the other guy's chin first. I do see that fight going a little bit longer, like than a round and a half. I know Pavlovich is on a losing streak, so he needs to fight smart. Rosenstreik's fights usually go a little longer. I mean, you would think KO, but who knows with that fight. Both of those guys are, I don't want to say inconsistent, but inconsistent. ESPN Plus. I have heard of a thing called Sports Surge, though, that helps people out. But yeah, Nurmagomedov is struggling with Oliveira here. He definitely looked tired in that second round. He started getting outlanded. Nurmagomedov won the first round, but Oliveira definitely won the second round. Now Nurmagomedov's in on a failed takedown attempt. He's getting sprawled on, which is exhausting. Oh, he's about to get Darced. Oliveira has a Darce choke on Nurmagomedov. He's squeezing, but he's got to trap the arm. Huh? He lets it go, starts landing some ground and pound. But yeah, this has turned into Oliveira's fight here. And again, if Nurmagomedov can go back and watch this fight and see why he lost, it's because he was throwing stupid shit. Wild kicks, which I guess work for him most of the time, but they did not work for him today. Flying knee that he missed and got taken down. Spinning back fist that he missed and got taken down. And he looks exhausted right now, Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov right now, at this point in his career, he needs to have his parents send him to Dagestan 2, 3 years and forget about him. Because his cardio's lacking as well as his wrestling. Another spinning back fist. Looks like he glanced him there, but ooh, good spinning back kick by Oliveira. Oliveira definitely the fresher of the two. Both guys are definitely fatigued. Oliveira's definitely the fresher of the two. Round three, significant strikes, 31-8 for Oliveira. Another takedown attempt by Nurmagomedov, stuffed by Oliveira. But yeah, this should be Oliveira's fight here. Failed takedown attempt by Nurmagomedov. Oliveira's trying to circle and take his back. Ooh, good adjustment by Nurmagomedov, but Oliveira grabs the ankle of Nurmagomedov, does a good job defending a takedown. Very sad incident in Washington, plane crash. What happened, bro? Just pilot error or air traffic control error. I don't think they've really said exactly what the cause was, but I think it was to blame. From what I've seen, the little bit I've seen on it was to blame the military plane that was doing exercises. The little transport plane. Looks like Oliveira hurt his rib or something in that fight, but just a sad situation. I know the plane was, I think, coming from Kansas City, was on approach to land, and there was a nearby military helicopter doing a training exercise, and they happened to collide. Very sad incident. But I think just pilot error, air traffic control error. It was at night. I've seen varying reports. You don't know what's really true, especially with the internet today. But I saw reports that the military helicopter was flying dark, like didn't have lights or weren't on radar, some type of shit like that. But who knows? Crazy too. And then I saw that there was like a private plane that crashed in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia yesterday or the day within the last few days. I think yesterday. So yeah, planes are just falling out of the sky. Crazy times. But I feel like not the military helicopter colliding with the commercial plane, but I feel like plane crashes happen often. They're just not always in the news like that. So 29-28, all three judges for Oliveira. Oliveira's holding his rib like he did something. Good fight though by Oliveira. Lost the first round, came on strong in the second and third. He's on a 5-fight win streak. Oliveira won by decision. That other Nurmagomedov, he's not related to Khabib. He's like a kickboxer from Dagestan, not a Nurmagomedov family member or that from that grappling pedigree. He beat the one Nurmagomedov. Now he's saying he wants Umar Oliveira. No, there was no robbery there. He clearly lost rounds 2 and 3. Nurmagomedov. He gassed, got outlanded, significant strikes, any type of strikes, didn't win the takedown battle. Rosenstrike, Page, and Imavov. 3 underdogs. I don't know what fight you were watching. He definitely didn't get kicked in the face every exchange. Right now, Oliveira just beat Nurmagomedov 29-28 on all 3 judges' scorecards. Next up will be Rosenstrike versus, what's his name? Sergey Pavlovich. This fight I'm actually looking forward to. I hope it delivers. Oliveira just beat Nurmagomedov. No problem. Next up, Rosenstrike versus Pavlovich. I saw him get dropped once. But yeah, all 3 judges had it the same. Nurmagomedov won the first round and lost 2 and 3. I mean, what other round did you see Nurmagomedov win? I saw him win round 1. I did not think he won 2 or 3. Could have won maybe 2, but he gave it away. Subjective. I don't think either one of them did too much to steal either round. So then, when it's competitive on the feet, what it comes down to is who got the takedowns, who controlled the fight more. And that was definitely Oliveira. I think even body language for Nurmagomedov wasn't going to win him those rounds. He was exhausted. I think, did they just say these two are former sparring partners? That looks like a dope amusement park there in Saudi Arabia. Well, Nurmagomedov needed to do more in that fight to win. He was definitely not the busier of the two. And that cost him. That's why the judges didn't give him the fight. He is not like the other Nurmagomedovs. His grappling as a whole, his cardio as a whole, and his striking's too wild. Numerous times in that fight, like even the one moment where I did see him drop Oliveira, he went for the flying knee. As soon as Oliveira stood up, missed the flying knee and got taken down. He had a lot of moments where I felt like he was throwing low percentage techniques and getting taken down, getting out grappled, getting smothered. You know, just because you're doing flashy shit doesn't mean you should win the round. You got to land it. You got to not get taken down off it. Again, like I said, he needs to go to Dagestan 2-3 years and just forget about him. That's his only chance. I think he's still young. How old is that Nurmagomedov? Ah, 32. So he's pretty set in his ways right now. Thank you for the follow, Paris. So he's pretty set in his ways. I don't think he's going to get too high up in the rankings. You know, he has a glaring... He's a pretty good grappler, just not as good as some of the guys he's faced, and that's his glaring hole. You want to beat Saeed Nurmagomedov, grapple with him. So Pavlovich versus Rosenstrike is up next. Looking forward to this one. Both knockout finishers. 15 first round knockouts for Sergey, 9 for Jairzinho. 83% finish rate for Sergey Pavlovich, 87% finish rate for Jairzinho. Both of these guys, there was a moment when they both looked like they were about to be champions or definitely title contenders, and then both just hit the wall when they got to that upper echelon. Pavlovich looked like a killer until he fought Aspinall, and Aspinall completely smothered him, fucked him up, caught him. And then Jairzinho, too. I mean, Jairzinho was on a roll until he ran into Ngannou. You know, he had that fifth round knockout of Overeem. He had a nice little win streak until he got completely ran at, throwing wild haymakers by Ngannou. And then I feel like he got a little gun shy after that. But expecting a knockout in this fight, but wouldn't be surprised if these guys both pace themselves a little bit. 18-3 versus 15-5. Shara and MVP is up next, so they should be on in like 20 minutes, half hour. Right now, we got Jairzinho Rosenstrike versus Sergey Pavlovich. Man, poor Derek Lewis. He definitely fell off. Yes. I'm not I don't watch wrestling religiously like I used to when I was a little kid, but the one thing I will always watch is the Royal Rumble. Like, I'll miss WrestleMania, but I'll always watch the Royal Rumble. Like, I've always enjoyed the Royal Rumble. So yes, I thought about that last night and even today. I was like, I think I'll do a little live stream and watch the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble's usually good for the guys that come back. There's always like a little bit of a swerve, an unexpected winner, usually in both. And believe it or not, I don't mind the women's Royal Rumble. I'm entertained by the whole idea of a Royal Rumble. I feel like they kind of do the same thing for the women's Royal Rumble. They bring back old wrestlers, they have surprises, so I'm always into that shit. Makes you feel like a kid again. But yes, I've always enjoyed the Royal Rumble. Definitely will be watching that. Hopefully they don't do some bullshit and have like fucking Roman Reigns win it or something, or The Rock win it, or some fucking stupid person who shouldn't win it. Because then even, right, they still do it where the winner of the Royal Rumble main events WrestleMania. So hopefully they give it to someone good. I mean, if they're going off merit, they really should give it to John Cena. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, I could see CM Punk or John Cena winning simply because I know CM Punk came back for his WrestleMania moment and like the main event of WrestleMania, and then John Cena's on his tour. If they're smart, they'd be like, CM Punk, you'll take it next year. We're going to give this one to John Cena. Off of his Make-A-Wishes alone, John Cena deserves like the greatest ride out ever. He deserves like the win the Royal Rumble, win the title, break the record at WrestleMania, and then sign off. Like, I always laugh at you ever see what's his name? Shane Gillis, when he talks about his family with Down syndrome, and he says he's like, there's two things that people with Down syndrome love. It's John Cena and titties. And then he says, like, if you ever see one, just give him one of these. And then they're like, and it's true. It's because John Cena, like, and I don't know who made that public. Like, I know it was like a secret for a long time, and then someone made it public about how John Cena does all those Make-A-Wishes, but props to that guy for that. Like I remember, and I wasn't John Cena or a celebrity, but I remember when I was a little kid with like my school, we went to the hospital and read for sick kids, and you could really make a sick kid's day just by talking to them, making them laugh. So I can only imagine what it's like being a fan of John Cena as a sick kid, and then John Cena walks in your room. I think the Rumble's on at 6, if I'm not mistaken. But then I always think, you ever see that one video too, where it's sick kids in the hospital and they're sitting at the window with Josh Allen signs, waiting for Josh Allen, and then Josh Allen walks in and the kids like design the shoes with Josh Allen. He made those kids made those kids' day. You gotta love seeing shit like that. Thank you for the likes, Bido. But yeah, not the biggest wrestling fan like I used to be, but I still watch occasionally, and I'll definitely watch the Royal Rumble. Did you try Sports Surge? Who do you got in Sergey Pavlovich versus Rosenstrike? I made the mistake one of the last times I was streaming where I started just rattling off places you can go watch the fights, alternative sites as opposed to ESPN Plus, and they banned me and said I was committing crimes. So that's always tough. Heavyweight's different, but when I see someone over 35, it's tough to win fights after 35. So Jairzinho is 36, Pavlovich is 32. Pavlovich has a long reach too. He's got like monkey arms. When you fight somebody with a long reach, you wind up getting hit with punches that normally you don't get hit with. Like your head movement and your blocking is like, it works against everyone else, but then this guy just has that longer reach. Perfect example is Chris Weidman knocking out Anderson Silva. Like Anderson Silva would get away with that head movement with everybody else because they had shorter arms. Chris Weidman had a crazy long reach compared to everyone else. That punch just on the end caught Anderson, where everyone else doesn't land that punch because they don't have that reach. But yeah, I'd have to lean towards Pavlovich, but I know Pavlovich has been on a little bit of a skid lately. And now this fight too, is it going to start fast, or are they both coming out slow, or are they both coming out crazy? He lost to Aspinall and Volkov. Rosenstrike has won 2 in a row. He had the loss to Almeida, and then he's won 2 in a row. And here we go. Round 1. I'm seeing a lot of people leaning towards Rosenstrike in this one. I feel like people kind of got off the Pavlovich train. Your data is over. Thank you for stopping by, Ali. Nice low kick by Rosenstrike. Pavlovich is definitely the bigger puncher, more power, but Rosenstrike's got a very extensive kickboxing background. I think he has like 80 fights or something like that. Some outrageous number of kickboxing fights. And a very good record. Both guys are waiting, feeling each other out a little bit. Couple of swings and misses by Pavlovich so far. Couple of low kicks landed by Rosenstrike. I don't think Rosenstrike's even thrown a punch yet. Minute in. Ooh, a little glancing right hand there for Pavlovich. And again, I feel like right there, that was the reach of Pavlovich. Rosenstrike moved his head and probably normally doesn't get hit there. Yes, Ali, come back. I'll see you next time. Couple of swings and misses by both guys. Stay safe out there in Pakistan. Pavlovich definitely looks bigger. it's funny before, yeah. Someone, he does look like Cutman Tate, Rosenstrike. A lot of feeling out by both guys. The only thing that's landed so far is some low kicks from Rosenstrike and one right hand from Pavlovich that Rosenstrike ate. A lot of feinting and posturing from both guys so far. Another little inside low kick from Rosenstrike. Oh, another right hand landed for Pavlovich. And so, yeah, I think they just said it again. I think these two have trained together in the past. So we kind of saw that with Volkov and Pavlovich, where it was a slower paced fight. You know, you get either one or the other when two guys have trained together. You either get where they just go balls to the wall because they finally can go a little harder, or they kind of have a feeling each other out type fight, and it looks like it's going to be a decision. Neither one of these guys are stepping on the gas right now. Shane's low kicks, little jab lands for Pavlovich. Ooh. Little 1-2 just landed for Pavlovich. It's definitely been Pavlovich's round so far. The few significant strikes that have landed have been for Pavlovich. Rosenstrike looks a little gun shy. I feel like I don't even know if he's throwing a punch yet. Oh, he just got dropped, it looked like. Or tripped. As Pavlovich threw a right hand, Rosenstrike kind of didn't react well to it. Pavlovich was able to kind of just run him over. And now we got Pavlovich on top of Rosenstrike in half guard. Landing a couple little short elbows. But yeah, Rosenstrike looks very gun shy right now. Yes, take care, Ali. Have a good day. Or good evening. So yeah, it was a trip. The punch missed. But it was the reaction by Rosenstrike. He kind of like went halfway to the ground to avoid the punch. Definitely dipped very low. That allowed Pavlovich just kind of push him to the ground, run him over. But yeah, definitely 1-0 Pavlovich. Rosenstrike's got to do something totally different right now. I don't even think he threw a punch that whole first round. Who knows what happened in the practice room between the two? But then I kind of thought that with Pavlovich and Volkov. You know, Pavlovich is built like a brick shit house. Probably hits like a fucking freight train. Probably very powerful. Like I thought Volkov would be a little more gun shy against him, but Volkov just kept throwing out his jab, landing kicks. But Rosenstrike definitely looks gun shy in front of him. Round 2. Hey, he threw his first punches, but they were not like just like range finders. A lot of feinting, posturing by both guys. Start out the second round. A lot of feeling out. Very slow start to this second round. A lot of respect shown by both guys. Both just pouring out jabs. They got me yawning. Hopefully, Shower Bullet and MVP don't have a fight like this. Man, though, you got to be concerned for MVP, though, if you're an MVP fan. Oh. Little right hand landed for Pavlovich. Good jab finally lands for Rosenstrike. But MVP moving up to 185. I don't think Shower Bullet is the biggest middleweight, but I don't think MVP was the biggest welterweight. So he's definitely going to be undersized moving up to 185. And is that a permanent thing, or was it just for this fight? Oh, Pavlovich just dropped Rosenstrike with a right hand. Rosenstrike popped back up, and then Pavlovich takes him right down. Couple little forearm shivers from Pavlovich on top, sitting in Rosenstrike's half guard. So it's looking like it's going to be 2-0 Pavlovich. I saw a lot of people picking Rosenstrike, but he did not come out blazing tonight. I think he's only thrown like 3 punches this whole fight. Couple of low kicks. And yeah, showing the replay, it looks like he punched him in the chest, maybe glanced his chin, but didn't look like the cleanest of knockdowns. I think it's just Rosenstrike's overreacting so much to Pavlovich even getting close to him. Sees Pavlovich is winning 2-0 so far. 30 seconds left in the second round, but he's had both rounds on top. Both rounds. He didn't really knock him down both rounds, but wound up on top. It looked like a knockdown both times. Thank you for the follow. But a lot of control time on top for Pavlovich so far. And Rosenstrike has only thrown like 2 punches. Very gun shy. Rosenstrike looks like he has a little bit of a... Oh no, Pavlovich looks like he has a little blood on his face. Might be from his nose, the one jab that landed from Rosenstrike. But definitely 2-0 Pavlovich right now. Again, I saw a lot of people picking Rosenstrike. Rosenstrike did not show up to fight today. Hopefully he comes out different in this third round, but definitely gun shy against Pavlovich. Who do you guys got in Shara Bullet versus MVP? as well as Adesanya versus Imavov. You know, the Shara MVP fight, I think, is tougher to pick than the odds because MVP is any given night could show up and look like a superstar. And Shara, I feel like even though undefeated, we've seen a little bit of holes even in striking. He's definitely good, but is he that level of striker, that guy? I don't know. We haven't seen his grappling tested. I think MVP definitely has the better grappling, or at least what we've seen so far. And I'm leaning towards Imavov simply because Adesanya's old. He's getting up there in age. But if Imavov doesn't fight smart and winds up striking with him for 25 minutes, I could see him getting pieced up on the feet. He needs to make that fight dirty, push Adesanya against the cage, look for takedowns, mix in his striking. Oliveira pulled that one out. Lost the first round, I thought, and then won the second and third. And he looked good. He came into that fight saying he was hurt and was almost pulled out of the fight, but he looked good in that fight. Called out Umar Nurmagomedov after, which I don't think is the next fight that he gets, but I'm sure beating Saeed Nurmagomedov, even though there's no relation, he gets up there a little bit. Not a lot of significant strikes. Ooh, little. There's one. Rosenstrike just landed a left hand. Pavlovich landed a left hand. Not a lot of strikes landed in this fight. Both guys very slow paced. We're in round 3 right now. I'd have to look at the numbers, but watching it, I almost feel like Rosenstrike's thrown under 20 punches. Ooh, nice left hook landed for Pavlovich. Backed Rosenstrike up. Those are a big wild right hand into a body lock and gets another takedown. So Pavlovich on top again. 3 minutes, 15 seconds left. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe more than I thought, but it's definitely been a slow-paced fight. Not a lot of strikes have landed. What was the number you needed for prize picks? I'm not a big fan of those over-under apps. I mean, it just came props to watch. Plus 400 if this fight would have went to a decision. He might have landed 22. It's close. It's definitely close. They should give us a graphic any second. But it's been a lot of, or at least every round, getting on top and little ground and pound from Pavlovich. He has landed the only significant strikes in the fight. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, normally they throw up the stat graphic to give you a gauge of who's winning the significant strike battle, but they have yet to do that. Thank you for the follow. Definitely a slow-paced fight. I mean, I don't know if they'd call these strikes significant, but he just landed like 7 ground and pound strikes. Minute and 30 left. Pavlovich on top of Rosenstrike, landed some ground and pound. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, the fans are not enjoying this fight. I think everyone expected this fight to be way different, but this is kind of what I thought it would be. Especially when they said they trained together before. Slow paced, a lot of respect. Both guys very calculated, not trying to take big risks, knowing that they could both get knocked out by the other guy. Rosenstrike's trying to work his way back to his feet right now. But a lot of respect shown by both guys in this fight. Like the most random person in the audience is definitely Tucker Carlson. And they're back up. 30 seconds left. Surprisingly, they didn't give us the stat graphic to show us. Ooh, nice left hand landed there by Pavlovich. Looked like he wobbled Rosenstrike a little bit. It's like 15 seconds left, and then Rosenstrike starts swinging. Should have had that same energy the whole fight. Good jab for Pavlovich. Ooh, good right hand. And that's the end. 15 minutes. Plus 400 if this fight would have went to a decision on your parlay. I like Shara simply because MVP is a welterweight coming up. I'm not sure if Shara can make welterweight. He's definitely going to be the bigger of the two. And MVP, when I look at it, he's 37. He's getting up there in age. Like, we're definitely not getting the best MVP. That one was in Bellator years ago. But I do think he probably is the better striker of the two. Probably the better grappler of the two. Just Shara Bullet is younger, bigger. And different styles. You know, it's kickboxing versus whatever you would call MVP. Is he Taekwondo, karate? MVP is definitely the better striker than Shara Bullet. Yeah, I think Jones would smoke Aspinall. So I always say it every time this fights, you got to look at a guy's age, and usually guys, anything other than heavyweight and light heavyweight, you don't win fights. No, I think MVP is the better striker. But for Adesanya, once you get to 35, you don't win fights. It's very rare that you win a fight after the age of 35. And he just so happens to be 35. 35 is like the cutoff. So he might have one more win in him, two more wins in him, but once he turns 36, it's not looking good. But it all comes down to how does Imavov fight. If Imavov strikes with him for 25 minutes and attempts no takedowns, he's going to get fucked up. George St. Pierre in the crowd. Cristiano Ronaldo with Turkey. Ala Sheikh, His Excellency. If they stay on the feet, he should win. But I would hope that Imavov. So here's the thing, too. Imavov has been thinking about Izzy for years. While Izzy was champion, Izzy was at the top. I don't think Imavov has ever been on Adesanya's radar. So for Adesanya, he's going out there kind of fighting a new guy where Imavov has been thinking about Izzy for years. Hopefully, his game plan has always been, yes, he's not a great offensive wrestler, but Izzy's getting up there in age. And even back to that, if you look up the stats, they're disgusting on fighters, anything other than heavyweight and light heavyweight, fighters after the age of 35 winning fights. It's almost non-existent. The Pirate, Shara Bullet. But I know in title fights, it's something fucking insane, like 2 or 3 and like 40, being over 35 in title fights. And then even if you just look at regular bouts, non-title fights, usually guys over 35, unless they're fighting someone else over the age of 35, they don't win. If a 35-year-old, 36-year-old fights someone younger than him in the UFC, odds are always favoring the guy, the younger guy. It's just a crazy statistic. It kind of shows you that like the shelf life for a combat sports athlete is 35. Jones is, I think, 35, but Jones is at heavyweight. If I'm not mistaken, John Jones is 35. But heavyweight and light heavyweight are the two outliers. But if anything, that would be why Aspinall definitely has a chance against John Jones. Is Father Time is undefeated. John Jones is up there. Oh no, Jones is 37. So yeah, Father Time is knocking on the door of John Jones. Plus all the hard partying. But I just think I remember Holly Holm said at one time, John Jones just has a weird way of finding ways to win. Like, it doesn't matter how he got prepared for the fight. He's just so good that he finds a way to win and usually can figure people out. Yes. In fight adjustments, he's one of the best we've ever seen. Him and George St. Pierre come to mind as two of the best that we've ever seen make in fight adjustments. And I feel like we started to see it at the end of John's run at heavyweight, where the younger guys with speed were giving him a little bit of issues, especially the smaller guys. Like the bigger, slower guys, I think John can handle those guys all day. When you looked at like the guys that were coming up from 185, or even Reyes when he was at his height, was like a super athlete, almost an NFL player, had a lot of speed, and that's what John had trouble with. Where heavyweight, everyone probably looks like they're in slow motion to him. Yes, very high fight IQ, but then just speed. Once speed starts to go, it's tough to deal with. This fight should be good though. Pavlovich won 3 rounds to nothing. Pretty dominant performance, but very lackluster fight. What's his name? Rosenstrike was very gun shy. Maybe threw 15, 20 punches the whole fight. Didn't really land anything. Landed like two or three good punches. Couple of leg kicks. Was very gun shy. Couple of times Pavlovich threw punches, and the way Rosenstrike reacted, he wasn't even getting hit. He was just able to run Rosenstrike over and wind up on top of him. They did not mention the significant strikes. Usually, though, I'm sure, what is it? Prize Picks probably updates it immediately, or you can go to, if I'm not mistaken, I know UFC, the website used to have the strikes right up there. They do not anymore. I know they used to give you like live updates of the significant strikes and the statistics of the fight. But I'm not seeing that anymore. What are you looking for? Significant strikes. They got 25 landed for Pavlovich. 25 out of 60. So what'd you need? Over 22? Over 23? So that should have hit. But yeah, UFC.com. You just got to click events, and then you kind of like follow live, and it'll give you the updates as the fight's happening. But yeah, so this is the number 14 middleweight versus the number 15 welterweight. And I'm very curious. I guess just the thought of maybe fighting a young undefeated up and comer was enticing to MVP, but maybe he was tired of cutting to 170. I'm curious to see. I didn't see the weigh-ins of these two and then next to each other and what the size difference looked like. But I don't know if Shower Bullets. I don't know if Shower Bullet ever fought at 170, but I don't know if he's making 170. Let me see. And where I like Shower Bullet, I like the idea of a guy fighting with one eye. I'm not sold on him yet. Let's see. So yeah, I don't think he's ever fought at anything lower than 185. Oh no, he has fought. He fought at welterweight early in his career. Shower Bullet. His first couple of fights were at welterweight. But hasn't fought that low since like 2021. All right, so maybe MVP is not too undersized in this fight. But that was my biggest concern for MVP in this one, was he was going to be a lot smaller. But looking at his record a few years ago, Shara Bullet used to make 170. This fight's 3. I think Pereira is a better grappler than people think. Yeah, Shara's walking out right now. And I think we kind of saw it in the Blachowicz fight where he was out grappled, but was Blachowicz better than Glover Teixeira? No. So I think Pereira does a lot of rounds with Glover Teixeira, who arguably is one of the best grapplers we've seen at 205. Like if Ankalaev and Glover Teixeira grappled, I'm not sure if Ankalaev gets the better of Glover Teixeira in the grappling realm. So I think Pereira sees a high level of grappling enough in the gym that I think his grappling, he's able to defend. It's definitely a grappler versus striker matchup, but Adesanya too, he just finds a way to win. He finds a way to, like, I know they said he does like his, what'd they say he does? Like his rituals or whatever. He finds a way to like goat you into striking matchups or just stay on the feet with them and not go for takedowns. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that, where Ankalaev stands for too long, which has shown that he's not the guy to stand with. Alex. Oh man, ESPN's freezing on me. Don't be playing games with me now, ESPN. But Shara Bullet, MVP, walking in the cage right now. I haven't even paid attention. Did they have Bruce Buffer or they have Martinez today? Oh my God. Yeah, this fight is free on ESPN Plus. But ESPN Plus has been slacking all day today. The prelim, I mean, they were doing good for the first start of the main card. The prelims had a couple of freezes. But now the main card just froze now for me on the co-main event. So, yeah, they got Martinez doing the announces. MVP getting announced right now. Who you guys got, Shara Bullet or MVP? I mean, undefeated, tough to pick against, but I'm leaning towards MVP. I know Shara is from Dagestan, but I wonder how his grappling is. I know there's a lot of hype behind Shara. But MVP's old. So actually, because of the age factor, this fight's a pick'em. But I do lean a little bit towards MVP. Ooh, Turk Al-Ashidi just did one of these, so he might have just said to kill somebody. The leader of the excellency of Saudi Arabia. They just put the camera on him. He looked at somebody and went like this. So that's either he's saying this fight or kill the loser, kill somebody. Somebody might have just died in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, for this one, I feel like if you're going to strike with MVP too, he's a tough puzzle to figure out. And his counter striking is so good. I feel like Shara probably has more power, but MVP definitely hits hard enough to hurt you. So they start out MVP's in his Karate stance. Thank you for the follow. Nice low kick landed for Shara. I feel like that's the game plan. It's been showed. I remember Diego Lima showed it best. You gotta just, if same thing with Wonder Boy, pick apart that lead leg. Don't sit and wait. Don't sit and let him time you. Don't sit and fall for his feints. Just start chopping that lead leg. Showers landed a few good low kicks so far. Couple of stance switches. Overwhelmed, yeah, and I think Kevin Holland just isn't that level of striker. Like, Kevin Holland looks good in the striking against guys that aren't high-level strikers. MVP, I think, is a high-level striker. Very good with his timing, his range. Sees a lot of the attacks. And if I remember correctly in that fight, Kevin Holland just couldn't get out of the way of the straight right hand. That blitz from MVP. I got MVP money line and 1 takedown. 1 takedown for either guy or for MVP. Good jab for MVP. Just looked like he almost ate a head kick from Shara. Oh. Nice little right hand landed for MVP, and he kind of pushed Shara down. I don't think they'd give him a takedown for that. But almost. I mean, so far, not a lot, but MVP's winning so far. Oh, MVP's in on a takedown right now. Just missed with a right hand, went into a body lock. He's got Shara pressed up against the cage. Like, I know he's a striker. He gave it up. I know he's a striker MVP, but we haven't seen Nurmagomedov on the ground too much. So I think that's the area that needs to be tested still, but MVP might not be that guy. It's always been so crazy to me to watch MVP fight and just see a guy fight 15 minutes with his hands down. Nice low kick by Shara Bullet. Again, that's the game plan that I've always seen. This is a 3-round fight. For MVP and for Wonder Boy, pick apart their lead leg. Don't let them bounce around in front of you. Just start spamming leg kicks. A lot of feinting by both guys. MVP's doing a lot of like half leads, going in, not fully committing and kind of seeing the reads and getting what Shara Bullet's going to do. And twice now he's done it, and Shara Bullet's tried to throw an elbow. Oh, there's a little 1-2 landed for MVP. Good low kick for MVP. But yeah, Shara Bullet not picking. He's trying now, but he needs to stay on that leg kick. There's a little right hand left hook. Glances for MVP. And I thought MVP would look smaller. MVP actually looks bigger than Shara Bullet. Usually MVP a little bit leaner when he's fighting at welterweight. Definitely looks thicker. Is taller. Both guys trade low kicks. Shara misses with a head kick. There's a good low kick for Shara Bullet. There's the blitz. Little glancing right hand landed for MVP. Missed with a spinning back fist for Shara Bullet. Oh! Spinning back kick looked like it just landed on the chin for MVP, and Shara ate it. Might have hit him in the neck. But I got 1-0 MVP. No. Sorry, Paul. They take me down. Last time I did that, they said I was committing crimes, so got to avoid that. They banned me for a week and said I was committing crimes. Me, of all people. They said I was being a pirate like Shara Bullet. But I got 1-0 MVP. Again, I've watched a lot of fights. The trick to beating this style is you got to take their leg out. Otherwise, he's going to just take his leg out or grapple him. So it's either you're going to land low kicks to set up head strikes and stop his movement, or you're going to grapple MVP. If you're going to let him just keep bouncing in front of you and you're not fucking up his front leg, it's going to be a good night for MVP. Little oblique kick, little right hand lands, little blitzing right hand lands for MVP. Yeah, that's a little controversial. GSP was pretty good, and I was always a GSP hater a little bit. But he was good. Can't deny that. I think his big right hand just landed for MVP. Wobbled Shower a little bit. Shower backpedaled. GSP was really good, though. But I do think he's a little bit praised more because of the Bisping win. But, like, he knew he was going to beat Bisping because they had trained together, and Bisping was the perfect opponent. Didn't have knockout power like that. Wasn't the level of grappler of GSP. Like, GSP wanted no part of Yoel Romero or Robert Whitaker or these other killers that were at 85. He was like, I'll fight Bisping and that's it. I mean, the odds are 115 right now. It's an even fight according to the sports book, but yeah, the Hendricks fight was rough. He did lose that fight. I felt bad for Hendricks there. That was, I think, the judges were just in awe of GSP. That close rounds, they were giving him the win when I thought he clearly lost that fight. But it was close, if I remember. It was maybe 3-2, maybe 4-1 Hendricks, but a couple of the rounds were close. Hendricks just had those rounds that he solidified, and GSP's face was fucked up. Yeah, it's up there. But a lot of it was GSP's face. I'd have to go back and rewatch the fight before I call it the biggest robbery ever. There's a right hand into the clinch for MVP. Little side kick lands for Shara Bullet. I mean, MVP's winning this round too. So far. That Gon fight was pretty bad. You know, a lot of the time when there's a robbery, you got to go back and rewatch the fight. And if you can rewatch the fight and you still think, then you're like, oh, all right. You have to watch fights that you think are close more than once. But yeah, I remember the consensus and initially thinking that that was a robbery, the Hendricks GSP fight. I remember GSP's face was all fucked up. Nice little flying knee to the body landed for MVP. Another good right hand. He's landing that blitz right hand. Thank you for the follow. That Gon fight was pretty bad. Trying to think of other decisions that I know were terrible, but MVP's got me hypnotized right now watching him bounce around. And Shara's not having an answer for it so far. And it looks like now Shara's giving up the low kicks because he ate a couple of good right hands that he's no longer going with the low kick, which is a tactical error for him. The kick is there. He's not even throwing it now. He's just headhunting. And the stat that they just showed, Shara Bullet has not landed one head strike yet. And now he's got MVP just dancing in front of him. Side kick misses for Shara Bullet. There's a little glancing right hand. Looks like it landed for Shara Bullet. Yeah, so if you watch it 10 times and you think it was a robbery, then it might have been a robbery. Again, like I said, the consensus was it was a robbery. I just don't remember the rounds, each round, too well. But I do remember the afterward thinking it was a robbery. And again, the biggest selling point in that fight was GSP's face. He was lumped up. And I do remember him having a tough time taking Hendricks down. Like him getting in on single legs and Hendricks like sliding across the cage, defending a takedown. But yeah, right now, I think MVP is winning this fight. But yeah, other than that fight, I don't think GSP was overrated. I think GSP was really good. High fight IQ, good at making adjustments. And GSP was where you see a lot of times guys, it's like the blueprints out there how to beat a guy and they don't follow it and then they lose. GSP was good at, if the blueprint was there, he went by the blueprint. He had very high fight IQ in that sense that it was like, oh, Thiago Alves, I'm not going to strike with him. I'm going to take him down. I think that was the surprise in the Hendricks fight, is he thought I'm going to outstrike Hendricks. But Hendricks at that point, Hendricks was good for a minute. But then there was always speculation of Hendricks being on some good juice. And also, Hendricks was no slouch. National champion wrestler. Did the judges, I don't know if the judges scored a 10-8 round. I think the judges were just giving out 10-9s. But I have to go back. That's one of those fights I haven't watched in so long. I don't give GSP too much thought. Like I always wanted to see. I did want to see the GSP Khabib fight that we never got. And then GSP just like aged his way out of competition. But kudos to him for walking away on top. Like I always talk about Cejudo. That's why GSP is so revered, if you will, is because he was able to walk away on top and didn't come back to start losing fights. If Henry Cejudo would have just walked away and stayed walked away, he'd go down as one of the greats. But because he came back and now he keeps losing fights, like we'll see how he does against Song Yadong. But when you come out of retirement, it's never good. But I got a 2-0 MVP right now. Little jab lands for MVP. I think Khabib, too, was very good, but I think he would have lost eventually. I think it's easier to become champion than it is to stay champion. And eventually you lose. The longer you hang around, you're going to lose. Especially if you get into your mid-30s, late 30s. Like, what did Khabib retire at? 32 or 33? It was coming. Someone was going to catch him eventually. We started seeing people getting closer and closer. And even then, I know Khabib had an iron chin, but it just takes one on the right spot. I mean, that's a debatable thing, too. The Gleason-Tebow fight, he might have lost 2 rounds in that fight. They were close. And then he definitely lost the 3rd round to Conor. But yeah, he was definitely really good. But Father Time, man. And then the sport, again, it's easier to become champion than it is to stay champion. So another right hand landed for MVP. Do you think taking Francis Ngannou in a fight? I don't know what that means. Yes, absolutely. I want to see Ilya versus Islam. I think people are sleeping on Ilya in that fight. Like we'll see on this next fight with Volkanovski. If he beats Volkanovski again cleanly, he's call your shot. If you want to go fight Islam, they should let him. Plus, if they did that fight would be huge internationally. And again, that one would tie into the Georgia versus Russia little history. Not to mention, I think Ilya's a star. Like, if you look at Ilya's following and his social medias and whatnot, he's got a lot of followers. He's got a whole country behind him. Ooh, looked like that flying knee just landed for MVP. But round 3, I got MVP winning this round so far. He's landed a few right hands. Shara has not done much. Shara is now trying to grapple MVP. He's got him pressed up against the cage. I just saw they're calling off Volk 2 for the Ilya Islam fight. I have not seen that, but where'd you see that? I think it's official. They just haven't really announced it yet. But Ilya versus Volk is going to be the main event of UFC Miami in March. I mean, Ilya just did his best work right there in the clinch, but MVP breaks out. Oh, little takedown attempt there by MVP. Good knee to the body. I mean, Nurmagomedov started the first 45 seconds of this fight with the right game plan. He was kicking the lead leg, but then he completely abandoned it and has now just been headhunting for the last 12 minutes. And that's not the way to beat MVP. Oh, there's a little left hand landed for Shower Bullet. Oh, Magomedov's coming on now. Landed a couple of shots there. Good right hand just landed for MVP. Couple of low kicks by Nurmagomedov. But yeah, 40 seconds left. Magomedov's running out of time. Oh, he just landed an elbow. It almost looked like he wobbled him there, but so this has been the best round for Shower Bullet here, this third round. He came on the last second half of it. I don't know. Oh, there's a little spinning back kick. Couple of up kicks landed for. He went for a spinning back kick, wound up falling. Went for a spinning an up kick that landed. Now he's got a triangle on Shower Bullet. I think that's a decision for MVP right there. Let me see. I don't know. How'd you guys score that fight? Because I have that 2-1. I mean, I haven't heard that or seen anything even remotely along those lines of Ilya versus Islam. I'm pretty sure that they just haven't publicly announced it. They're probably going to do it at the next pay per view or within the next week or two that it's going to be Volk versus Ilya. Or April, it's going to be. Last I heard was Islam's actually going to take time off after that last one. Thank you for the follow. I did see Pantoja versus France is rumored, but no announcement yet. Yeah, I think 2-1 MVP. I think Shower Bullet won that third round. But should have been coming on like that earlier. Working that low kick, trying to throw those elbows. He let that fight get away from him, just started headhunting and chasing MVP. But let's see. This fight's in Saudi Arabia. Oh, yeah, the judges scored at 30-27. MVP 30-27, 30-27, 29-28. I mean, Volk has a chance, but the Ilya I've seen, yeah, Ilya's good. It's a slim chance. Ilya's really good. That's a big win right there for MVP. I know there was a lot of hype behind Shower Bullet. That's a big win right there. He was a grappler first, Ilya. I've heard that is grappling, and I've heard that same thing that who said it? I think it was Gilbert Burns saying it, and I've heard people talk about it. Like I remember years ago, people saying when I was in South Florida that Ilya was the guy. That there were stories of when Ilya came to Killcliff, Ilya fucking up, or Sanford back then fucking up a lot of really good people and being like the fucking guy in the room. I know when he used to come to America, he would go to MMA Masters, he would go to Killcliff, he would travel around a little bit. Who said it? I forget who. Maybe it was Chandler. Oh no, it was Eddie Alvarez said it, who used to be from Sanford and used to be part of the Black Zillions and whatnot. Probably still has close ties with a lot of the guys. He said that he heard about when Ilya was down there. Ilya was out wrestling the wrestlers, out wrestling the Dagestanis, tapping out people, and knocking people out. Like Ilya is really good. And then for anybody to do that to Volkanovski and Max Holloway back to back, that's stamped his place. Like, granted, fighting's fucked up and weird that he could lose the next few fights and it tarnishes what he's got going on in his legacy. But those two wins right there, like if he walked away today, he's in the conversation of the greatest of all time at 145. Why? Because he beat two of the GOATs. And also how he beat them. To knock out Max Holloway like that and to knock out um what's his name? Volkanovski like that. Granted, I think that was a tainted Volkanovski coming off the knockout to Islam. You are a 6'8" Sambo fighter. That's a big dude. So here we go, main event. After MVP just pulled off the upset. Adesanya versus Imavov. Is Adesanya on a losing streak right now? Adesanya has lost 3 of his last 4 and lost 2 in a row. Both title shots, both title fights, all title fights. And this is his first non-title fight since 2019. Imavov, like I said, Imavov's been thinking about Izzy for years. Hopefully been game planning for Izzy. Hopefully has a grappling game plan to beat Izzy. He's 28, Izzy's 35. Both lost to Sean Strickland recently. But yeah, Imavov's got to come into this fight ready to grapple. If he tries to strike with Izzy, I think he's going to have problems. He's got to make this like a grimy fight, push him up against the cage, look for takedowns. Shower Bullet's not finished, but he definitely choked, lost that fight. I think the hype train has stopped a little bit because MVP's not. He's good. He's not the top of the weight class. That was his first fight at 185. So now it's for Shara Bullet. If you're losing to the 15th ranked welterweight, you should be out of the rankings at that point. But there's still interesting matchups. I think the problem too, I'm not sold on Shara. I wasn't sold on Shara coming into the fight. I was leaning towards MVP other than his age, which was a possibility of him losing for me, but I thought he was the better striker. And then when I look at Shara Bullet, the problem with him is, especially when they give him fights like that, is he can't fight in America. So you can't build him up to be your champion because then what are you going to do? You're only going to have title defenses overseas. You're never going to bring him to the States. No athletic commission in America is going to approve him, especially after they know that he has eye problems. Like Bisping, they didn't know he had eye problems. He used to trick the athletic commissions. Shara Bullet, it's too public and his eyes too fucked up looking that any athletic commission is not going to sanction him to fight. But he's still in there, Who maybe Chris Curtis, is a good fight for him next, or him versus Pereira could be a good fight. Michelle Pereira. I mean, you saw it tonight. I think even at the end of the fight, MVP, the second they hit the ground, it was only a couple of seconds. MVP had him in a triangle, so I called it out before, and I'm sure if we see it, I think his hole is going to be his grappling. He's not one of those Dagestanis where grappling is his strong suit. And we saw it tonight. Even I would, for lack of a better way to put it, I'd say low fight IQ. He started with the low kicks, and then he completely abandoned the low kicks. That's how you beat MVP. You pick apart his front leg, you slow him down, or you grapple him. But if you're not a better grappler than him, which I think MVP was the better grappler of the two, yeah, hype train, shower bullet. It got derailed tonight, today, whatever you want to call it. But he's not done. He's just back into the mix. If he would have beat MVP, he granted a welterweight, he would have moved ahead. But I'm looking now. There's a lot of middleweights, I think, that handle shower bullet. You know, if they're still pushing him, which again, it's tough because he can never fight in the States. Maybe they give him the winner of Cannonier or the loser of Cannonier versus RoboCop. Something like that. But man, what's going on with Khamzat now that I'm looking at the middleweight rankings? We haven't heard anything about Khamzat recently. I know there was a lot of speculation that he would get the next title shot, especially after beating Robert Whittaker the way he did. Does he fight the winner without fighting again? Because I feel like you do kind of cement your shot at a title if you beat Robert Whittaker. Something that's crazy. I'm looking on Tapology, and they have Dricus du Plessis ranked number 4, but they have Strickland ranked number 1. How do you have the champ ranked number 4? Who's a casual? But yeah, so I guess he just waits it out, Khamzat. I think him too. I think he's having difficulty fighting in the States. Or is he done with that? Where was him versus Whittaker? All right, he fought Whittaker in the States. No. I think Strickland, that's going to be a tough fight. But I think Strickland could win that fight. Him versus DDP. But DDP, like I saw Whittaker and Adesanya talking about him, and they said that he's the best shit fighter. I think he's just unorthodox, and it works for him, and he's tough. Toughness is what gets DDP these victories. Durability. Thank you for the likes. Strickland's still young, though. And that first fight was very close. Arguably, a lot of people think that he won. Yes, Strickland does have a very good ground game that he never uses. I've heard that from a lot of people. Next fight is not going to be close. Oh, you think DDP is going to smoke him in the next fight is what you're saying? It's possible. I think Strickland's a hard guy to smoke, though. The biggest strength of Strickland is his cardio and his pace. And if we've seen a hole from DDP, it is his cardio. Or maybe just the way he looks. I know he said something like that he's not tired. He just had a nose problem, so he was always open mouth breathing. But Strickland could put it on you. Imavov is a perfect example of that. Like I remember, if I'm not mistaken, Strickland beat the shit out of Imavov and just put a pace on him that he couldn't handle. Adesanya too. Strickland just put a pace on him that he couldn't handle. Thank you for the follow, Julian. But Strickland too. I think this fight, Strickland versus DDP, it's two of the best unorthodox fighters. If he takes a few shots like Merab with no intention to go to the floor, he'll pick DDP apart. DDP could grapple. DDP's grappling's pretty good. I feel like I've seen his grappling look better than his striking. But he gets it done on the feet. Like same thing like I heard Whitaker say. He's like, he seems so slow, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get hit with a punch. And if I'm not mistaken, did he rock? I know he rocked Whitaker on the feet. Did he rock Adesanya on the feet, DDP? Right before he submitted him. Right before he took him down and submitted him, he rocked him on the feet. Yes, Bullet, I think, is all hype. Yeah, I don't even think he landed maybe like 2 or 3 punches in the third round, but it took him until the third round to land anything. I think part of it too with DDP, his range, his reach, he's able to like get to distances that like you kind of move, you think he's not going to hit you, but then he's got long arms, so he winds up catching you. I think people heard a lot about what happened with Khamzat and Strickland in the gym, and that Khamzat submitted him a few times, and they think Khamzat will have easier time with Strickland than he will. I think Strickland's good, man. And again, Strickland's grappling. Strickland's been around the game for so long. He's always trained in good gyms. What colors are each fighter? We got the white guy and the black guy. Or the tan guy. Imavov's tan a little bit. Well, let me see. I've seen Imavov tan. He might be in here tonight looking pale. Let me see. Oh, shorts. Black shorts for Izzy. I went the Joe Rogan route. Izzy's problem, and I've seen him it work against him a few times. It definitely happened against DDP. He moves away. He circles out with his hands down. Same with MVP. MVP's actually, I'd actually say, a little better at it, at circling out with his hands down. But Izzy has done it a few times, and I've seen it hurt him. He moves away and tries to circle out with his hands down a lot and gets caught. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's how Pereira caught him too. This is like a mental fight for Izzy right now. First non-title fight since 2019. A win doesn't get him a title shot. He's at least 2-3 wins away from another title shot. I like Izzy though. I'm gonna root for him, but my mind's saying Imavov. But at the same time, it all depends on how Imavov fights. If Imavov does not grapple, he's going to lose this fight. Izzy's going to pick him apart for 5 rounds. But if Imavov makes this a dirty fight, pushes him up against the cage, tries to grapple him, then he's got a better chance. But we've seen it. The game plan to beating Izzy is not striking with him for 15 minutes, 25 minutes. It's mixing it up, taking him down, making it a grimy fight. Imavov's not that level of striker or that level of grappler, for instance, but he could get it done. I could see what you mean by that. A lot of people don't like MVP style. I don't mind it. I'm always intrigued to see if it will work. But again, the blueprint's out there on how to beat it. Shara Bullet fought not very high, did not fight with a lot of intelligence. The game plan for him, MVP, and Wonderboy, that style of bouncing around, is you have to pick apart their front leg. If you don't pick apart their front leg and just spam leg kicks, you don't deserve to beat them. You're going to let them bounce around, circle around you, and then keep blitzing you. You got to pick apart their front leg. Thank you, not Omar. 5 rounds would have been better for Shower Bullet, if that's what you're talking about. But he wasn't fighting smart. He started smart and then finished smart. The in between, he was fighting like an idiot. He was just headhunting, literally headhunting. I think he got in his own head because he wasn't landing any strikes to MVP's head, got frustrated, and then just was so determined to try to land a head strike, he didn't land anything until like the 14th minute of the fight, 13th minute of the fight. MVP fought an MVP type of fight. If you do not pick apart the front leg, you're not going to beat him. No, that was definitely better quality than a Contender Series fight. But that style's not for everyone. I get it. I was never the biggest MVP fan. I'm into him now in watching his fights in the UFC to see if his style can work and who can mentally figure it out. But same as Wonder Boy, they will dance around you and blitz you if you do not pick apart their front leg. So main event about to start. Yeah, he's definitely not a high output fighter, MVP. I don't think Shower Bullet's high output either. So Imavov, Adesanya, just touched gloves, round 1. Yeah, it was not a high volume fight at all. It was a lot of like posturing from MVP, and Shower Bullet was just following him, headhunting. Needed to pick apart that front leg. Definitely exposed some holes in Shower Bullet's game. Oh, Izzy's coming out hot. Lands a low kick, lands a body kick. Standing southpaw, switching up his feet a lot. Imavov's definitely doing like a what the fuck is this? I'm not liking the body language so far from Imavov. Another low kick lands for Adesanya. Hopefully quick, Imavov is like, I got to get this guy to the ground because that's his only chance, is to make this a grimy fight. Even if it's not just takedowns, it's pushing him against the cage, grinding on him. No, that heavyweight fight was terrible. The Oliveira fight was good. Little left hand lands for Adesanya. I don't even think Imavov's thrown anything yet. There's a little left hand that misses for Imavov. Adesanya's looking good, but a lot of volume so far from Adesanya. Usually, I feel like he throws a lot less. Oh, there you go. Imavov punches into a takedown attempt. He's in on a double leg, and he's good takedown defense from Adesanya. Oh, Adesanya goes for a little lat drop of his own and stays on his feet. He had Adesanya down, and Adesanya at the last minute threw his hip in there and was able to defend that takedown. Good takedown defense by Adesanya, but Imavov had the game plan there. I feel like Volkov won that fight soundly versus Sergey. That was actually a terrible night for Pavlovich. Oh, Imavov's in on a body lock. Good takedown defense so far from Adesanya. And yeah, Imavov's not that crazy of a wrestler, so this might be a tough night for Imavov. Thank you, it's your boy, for the follow. Imavov's looking rough right now, though. Like, kind of a little lost. A lot of volume so far from Adesanya. They were training partners. I think they were actually friends. And then I feel like no bad blood from Volkov. Volkov just picked them apart. But Pavlovich was pissed after that fight, if I remember correctly. Little cup check there from Adesanya. Couple of swings and misses by Imavov. Little quick right hand from Adesanya. Yeah, he threw a little tantrum after that fight, I remember. He was pissed. But I think he wanted Volkov to like stand in the pocket and trade with him, where Volkov kind of just like jabbed and kicked him to a decision. But Imavov's looking a little bit behind right now, Adesanya. Adesanya's definitely leading the dance, countering really well. Stuffed a couple of takedown attempts from Imavov. That one takedown, that first takedown attempt, Imavov definitely thought, oh, I got him down. Really good defensive wrestling from Adesanya. Ooh, big uppercut just landed for Imavov. Oh, they're trading right now. Imavov landed a big uppercut. Changed the whole demeanor of Adesanya. Adesanya landed a little left hook. Imavov's in now on a double. He's got to chain wrestle, though. I feel like Izzy's too good to just defend a straight-on takedown attempt. Yep, see? You got to chain wrestle Izzy. Izzy's been around for too long. And had the idea that people are going to try to wrestle him. I feel like he works so much wrestling in the gym. And he breaks off the cage. So very good takedown defense this first round from Izzy. Imavov landed a good uppercut. But other than that, nothing. Little question mark kick just missed for Izzy. Blocked by Imavov. End of round one. Good body kick for Izzy. Definitely 1-0 Adesanya. Imavov's not going to win this fight if it's on the feet. He's got to go for some takedowns. Got to keep spamming takedowns. And if he doesn't get the takedown, just keep Izzy against the cage. Out at range, Izzy's going to pick him apart. But yeah, that was a good uppercut. And then Izzy landed a left hook. Imavov almost landed another right hand. Looks like he hit him in the neck. That was the best exchange of the fight so far. I'm interested to see the elevation play a factor in this fight. Is Saudi Arabia at elevation? I know it's hot and dry. And that could always play a factor in the fight. But yeah, if it's at elevation, that could absolutely play a factor in the fight. At this, the way they both look right now, I'd lean towards Izzy in that. But good first round for Izzy. Good takedown defense. That uppercut, too, that Imavov landed, seems like it woke Izzy up. Got him a little more aggressive. Izzy starts the round with a good low kick, good jab. Another good low kick. Imavov's only chance is to punch into takedowns and make this a dirty fight. If he sits at range or keeps this fight on the feet, he's not beating Adesanya. He tried to catch a low kick there. Oh, big right hand. Imavov just dropped Izzy. Then hit him with a left hand. Rocked him. And the referee just jumped in. Imavov just knocked Adesanya out. Holy shit. I take that back. I'm Imavov. He caught Izzy sleeping right there. Izzy's pissed about that stoppage. I think maybe that fight was stopped a little early. Caught Izzy with a big step-in right hand. And then as Izzy was trying to build back up, hit him with a left hand running in. Definitely a premature stoppage, though. You got to give Izzy more credit than that. Let's see the replay. That's an upset right there. Imavov was getting fucked up on the feet and picked apart. He landed the one uppercut in the first round. But he caught Izzy sleeping right there. Caught Izzy reaching. Big right hand, right on the chin. Dropped Izzy. Then that big left hook as he ran in. Then he started landing like some little ground and pound. He landed one right hand, I'm seeing. I got to see the actual stoppage. So a right hand drops Izzy. He runs in, lands like a little clubbing left hook. That drops Izzy again. And Izzy started building back up. And the referee, he only got hit once. So the referee really didn't give him a chance to recover there. I mean, Imavov caught him there. That's not Imavov outstruck him. Imavov caught him. So Imavov closed the range, and Izzy reached for him, had no defense, and got hit with a big right hand. Good finish in there by Imavov. That's a shocker. Not that he beat Izzy, how he just beat Izzy. Might be time for Izzy to hang him up. But I don't he's not taking off his gloves, so. And I don't think he didn't get stopped there. I think when you get flatlined, it's different. Well, they started at 9 a.m. And it's because this is in Saudi Arabia. So this is nighttime in Saudi Arabia. Like that part of the world right now, it's nighttime. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in Saudi Arabia right now. I had a guy in the chat before from Pakistan an hour ago. He said it was 10:30 in Pakistan, so it's probably late at night right now. Huge win from Imavov. Totally knocks Adesanya out of title contention, out of the rankings. Like I said, if Izzy beats Imavov, he's 2 fights away from getting back in title contention, but the most wins since 2020. Brendan Allen with 10, Dreykus with 8, Imavov with 8. Yeah, I get it, Kevin Kraft. Sometimes these cards, though, they do this when they're in Abu Dhabi, too. Remember, they have the cards usually at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. These are what happens with these international cards sometimes. Like I know sometimes in the UK they'll have there it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Here it's like normal time. I think today too they're fine with it because they're under that TKO banner, and tonight's the Royal Rumble for WWE. So this is a big day, if you will, for the TKO brand that they have a UFC in the daytime and a WWE event at night. But man, it was that second. So the right hand dropped him, definitely flashed him. But Izzy was getting up, and then he hit him with like a shovel punch left hook, running in. And Mark Goddard should have gave Izzy more time. Izzy was building up. He got hit with one right hand. Me, I like the fighters to get their chance. I feel like that was a premature stoppage. Izzy was in trouble though. Yeah, Bullet definitely got fraud checked. Man, if anybody was smart, I was unfortunately on my thing. I might have threw that sprinkle in. If anybody would have picked MVP and Imavov, that was a good underdog bet right there. I mean, Imavov beat Adesanya, but I think Imavov's going to get fucked up by the top guys. I know he already got fucked up by Strickland. Izzy versus MVP. Let's go. That's not the worst fight. What do you guys think about that fight? Izzy versus MVP. I think Izzy would be a little bigger than MVP, but both good strikers. I would pay to watch that fight or illegally stream it. I'd definitely watch it. Yeah, I don't know if he would have recovered, but give him that moment. He was definitely in a bad spot, but he was building up. It's not like he was flat. He was trying to get up. All the Bullet fans crying, saying all MVP was doing was running. That's MVP style. I think Izzy would pick apart the front leg. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, this is why I was leaning towards Imavov in this fight. I thought he'd win it on the ground. I didn't think he'd win it standing, but it's just a fucked up statistic. You do not win after the age of 35. Like 35 is the cutoff for your competitive life in combat sports. You could fight other people over 35 and then get some wins, but if you fight someone younger than you and you're 35, you do not win. The numbers are so fucked up that if someone did a study on it, I might have to start keeping track of it, but it's not good. I know that I've seen the number released in title fights. It's like 2-40 or 3-40 or something crazy. Being over 35 and trying to win a title, you do not win. And then outside of title fights, even in non-title fights, if you're over 35, you do not win. Randy was at heavyweight. So heavyweight and light heavyweight are the exceptions. And even Randy was on so much testosterone. Like back then, they didn't test for testosterone the way they do now. Randy was on so much test, it's not even funny. Father Time's undefeated. Izzy has a lot of combat experience, so for him to get up to 35 and have so many fights, he's definitely older than 35. I did not see that, but you should see Adesanya's pre-interview before the fight. He admitted that he wasn't winning. What'd he say? I mean, I'm shocked that Imavov landed that punch, and he didn't outstrike him. He knocked him out. He was getting outstruck, and then he landed that punch. But that's an upset there. Just how he won the fight. But I thought I leaned towards Imavov in that fight simply because of the age factor. And it's so crazy. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start keeping track of the number of 35-year-olds competing in MMA, especially if they fight someone younger than 35. Always favor the guy under 35. 35 is the cutoff. Like what got me onto the stat was when they released it when Volk was fighting for the title. Or was it Volk? Somebody was over 35 fighting for the title, and they showed the stat. And 2 of the wins, I think there's 3 wins or 2 wins, they're Tyron Woodley. So the numbers are skewed. It's actually like 0-40 if you take out Tyron Woodley. But over the age of 35, you do not win title fights. Over the age of 35, you usually don't win non-title fights. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, Father Time. The only time it doesn't count or the numbers are taken out are light heavyweight and heavyweight, where you can get past 35 and still win some fights. I mean, I'd be interested in MVP versus Izzy. And then that's tough too, is who does, off that loss, who would they even match Izzy up with next? I mean, if we're going with the old school adage of fighting and the way they do things, but I mean, coming off a loss, I always wanted to see Izzy versus Khamzat. But now Izzy's on a losing streak, and Khamzat's just sitting waiting for a title shot. Let me see. Well, George Foreman was an outlier, and that's heavyweight too. And then you saw a couple of fights when he was old, he just got picked apart by younger guys. And even that fight when he did knock out Michael Moore had a lot of shit going on in his head. And that was more Michael Moore choking than George Foreman showing up. I mean, Izzy versus Brendan Allen, maybe. I mean, you could do maybe. No, I was going to say versus Joe Pyfer, but he's fighting Kelvin. I mean, that's the only thing they could really do now is use Izzy to build up another star if they're going to go that route. I mean, Izzy versus Bo Nickel. There's not a lot out there for Izzy right now. That was tough. Yeah, that I think the right that dropped him. I think that left hook as Izzy was trying to build up is what really did him in. But he was building up. I would have liked to have seen him get a little more fucked up, if you will, just because I feel like that's what a fighter deserves after all the shit they go through to get to the fight. And especially everything Izzy's done. I feel like Mark Goddard, that was a premature stoppage there, but Izzy was in trouble. Imavov pulled off the upset, the shocker, and knocked out Izzy. Caught him with a right hand as Izzy was built, dropped him with a right hand as Izzy was building up. He dropped him with another little left hook shovel punch, and then started landing some ground and pound. He was definitely hurt, but he was building up. If he was out of it, he would have been flatlined. He would have been laying there covering up. He was at least responding. And then after the fight, anytime a fighter, so like I'll give you examples. Izzy right there complaining and saying like, "What the fuck? Like, why'd you stop it? That's early." Versus Gaethje after Dustin Poirier. That's when a guy complains and you're like, no, you can't even stand up. Izzy was able to stand right up, pop right up, so he was hurt, but he wasn't out of it. It wouldn't have went good. I think he was in a bad spot, and he probably would have got TKO'd within the next 10 seconds, but give him those 10 seconds. He's got CTE anyway. He's already fucked up. So that's just how I feel. I feel like he was in trouble, but you got to give the fighter the benefit of the doubt, especially if they're building up. Give him that moment. Like Volk versus Ilya, he was out cold. There was no let him keep taking damage. But then that's when you stop the fight, when the guy's not moving. Give him that much. That's just me, though. He definitely was in bad shape. That right hand that dropped him was rough. That left hook that caught him as he was trying to build up shut him off almost. But then he caught himself, started building up, got hit with one right hand, and then Goddard stopped it. But he wasn't winning that fight. Again, 35. So now I actually gotta start like writing it on the wall or something. Get a fucking paper and pad, and I'm gonna start keeping track of 35-year-olds in fights versus a younger fighter because it always favors the younger fighter. No matter what the odds say, anything like that, you got to go with the statistics and see that 35-year-olds do not win fights. It's fucking crazy. They don't win championship fights. They don't win non-title fights. It's actually fucking crazy. But what's next for Izzy? I don't know. That's 3 losses in a row now for Izzy. Granted, to the upper echelon of the division. You can call Imavov the upper echelon. He's number 5. They now moved him up to number 3. They used to have Izzy at number 3. He lost to Pajeda. He lost to Dreykus. He lost to Strickland. So he's losing the top guy. It's not like he's getting blown out by scrubs. But that's a tough knockout because that's a non-title fight. That's Imavov, who's never fought for a title. But Imavov's now won 4 in a row. So he's moving his way into contendership. He's definitely 1 fight away, 2 fights away from a title shot. He's close. But I remember he got completely mauled by Strickland, if I'm not mistaken. So he's always going to be behind Strickland for a title shot. Yeah, where does Izzy go from here? I know he has money. He made a lot of money. He headlined so many pay-per-views. He definitely got to the point where he was getting a cut of the pay-per-views. He's definitely a millionaire, I'd imagine. He made a lot of money in his fighting career. How much longer does he have to keep doing it? Or how much longer does he want to keep doing it? He didn't take his gloves off, so I know that doesn't always necessarily mean the guy's not retiring, but we'll see. Questions now come in. How did his camp go? How much more is his head still into it? How much longer does he want to fight? But yeah, that was a tough loss there for Izzy. Definitely sets him back. Man, I've never been to Saudi Arabia, but when they show the aerial shots, it looks pretty dope. It looks like Las Vegas. Oh, I'm not trying to play games with you right now. All right, well, my dog is barking and saying that the stream is over. But great afternoon of fights. I was entertained. MVP pulling off the upset or fraud check and shower bullet. Imavov pulling off the knockout over Adesanya. What time we got? 3 o'clock. We got some other sports about to start popping off. I'm definitely going to hop back on later just for the Royal Rumble because I like the Royal Rumble. My first pro wrestling stream. But thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Well, let me get my thing up.